Hello 10th graders, this is Miss Miriam and this is the third online math lesson from MIS. The cosine rule will be our lesson in this video. Keep a piece of paper beside you as you watch this video and stay focused. If you have a triangle that is not a right-angled triangle and you don't have any matching pairs as the sine rule, side and opposite angle or angle and opposite side, and you want to find the length of a missing side or the measure of a missing angle. The cosine rule tells you that if you want to find the length of a missing side, let us say A, then A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared, which are the other two sides, minus 2 times B times C cosine A. A is the angle that is opposite to the missing side. And the same way, if you want to find B or you want to find C, you'll follow the same rule. Now, if you want to find the angle, if the angle is missing, not the side, then the first thing is that you must have all of the three sides to find the angle. And the rule says that cosine, let us say the angle A, is equal to B squared plus C squared. B and C are the sides that make the angle A. So it is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared. A is the side that is opposite to the missing angle, divided by 2BC. And of course, the same rule applies to B and C. Let us see how can we apply the cosine rule to find the measure of a missing angle. As you can see, you have this triangle, ABC, with angle C is missing and marked as X, and we want to find it. The first thing is that we have the three sides. This means that we can apply the cosine rule to find the angle. Cosine rule says that cosine the angle X or C is equal to the two sides that make the angle, which are 30 and 40. So 30 squared plus 40 squared minus the opposite side, the side that is opposite to the angle, which is 50 squared, over 2 times 30 times 40. X is equal to cosine inverse, this quantity. With a calculator, we find that X is equal to 90. As you can see here, we apply the cosine rule although the triangle is right angle triangle, but we didn't know that it is a right angle triangle. Let us see how can we apply the cosine rule to find the length of a missing side in a triangle. We have a question that says that a triangle has two sides of length 40 centimeters and an angle of 110. Work out the length of the third side of the triangle. Give your answer correct to three significant figures. The first thing is that we must draw the triangle. Since it has two equal sides and an angle of 110, then this angle, 110, must be between the two sides. Why? Because it's an isosceles triangle. Let me name the missing side A. Let us look at the triangle. We have the angle that is opposite to the missing side, and we have the other two sides. This means that we can apply the cosine rule. So, A squared is equal to 40 squared plus 40 squared, which are the other two sides, minus 2 times 40 times 40 times cosine 110, which is the opposite angle. And A is equal to the square root of this quantity. With a calculator, you'll find that A is equal to 65.53216, etc. But we want the answer correct to three significant figures. So A is equal to 65.5 centimeters. Our next question will be about using trigonometric ratios in navigation, and the question says that a ship sails from a port on a bearing of 50 degrees for 50 kilometers, then turns on a bearing of 110 degrees for 40 kilometers. What course and distance should a helicopter from the port fly to reach the ship in the shortest possible time? Let us try to draw the situation. This point will indicate the port. The ship sails from the port on a bearing of 50 degrees. Let us indicate the north and then draw an angle such that the north is one of its sides and the other side will have a length of 50 kilometers. After being 50 kilometers away from the port, the ship turns on a bearing of 110 degrees for 40 kilometers. This point indicates the ship's place before turning. Now, the ship turns on a bearing of 110 degrees. To draw an angle of 110, first thing is that we need to indicate the north, and then draw an angle of measure 110 degrees, such that the north is one of its sides, and the other side has a length of 40 kilometers. The ship stops after 40 kilometers, and the helicopter from the port must fly and reach the ship in the shortest possible time. Shortest possible time means shortest distance, which is this path. What we need to know is the course of the helicopter and the distance that the helicopter must fly. The distance that the helicopter must fly is the length of this path, which is x, and the course is the angle between the north and this path. To find this angle, we need to find the measure of the angle marked y. Because we need to find the length x and because we might think of using the cosine rule, we need to find the angle that is opposite to the side x. Can we find it? Of course we can. The first thing that we must do is to extend the side that has length of 50 kilometers. And then the two rays that indicates the north are parallel. This means that we have two angles of measure 50 degrees. The angle of bearing is 110. Part of it is 50. This means that the other part is 60. Now, the angle that is inside the triangle and 60 degrees are supplementary angles. This means that they add up to 180. So the angle that is inside the triangle is 120. Let us find the distance, or the path that the helicopter must fly. As you can see, in this triangle, x is missing. We have the opposite angle, which is 120, and we have the other two sides, 50 and 40. This means that we can apply the cosine rule. So following the rule, we will have that x squared is equal to 40 squared plus 50 squared minus 2 times 40 times 50 cosine 120. And x is equal to the square root of this quantity. Use your calculator and you'll find that x is equal to 78.1 kilometers, corrected to significant figures. And here you go, we found the path or the distance that the helicopter must fly to reach the ship. Now, to find the measure of the angle y, we can apply the sine rule. As you can see, we have y and its opposite side, which is 40 kilometers, and we have the angle 120 and its opposite side, which is 78 kilometers. And the rule says that sine y over 40 is equal to sine 120 over 78, or sine y is equal to sine 120 over 78 times 40. And y is equal to sine inverse this quantity. With a calculator, you'll find that y is equal to 26.4 degrees. So now we can find the bearing of the helicopter from the port, which will be 26.4 plus 50, which is 76.4 degrees. This means that the helicopter must fly on a bearing of 76.4 degrees for 78 kilometers from the port to reach the ship in the shortest possible time.